I just grew our e-commerce brand's revenue from under $100,000 per month to over $1 million in the past 30 days, leveraging AI. But of course, I wasn't able to do this by simply asking Claude to make me as much money as possible, make no mistakes, or by handing all of the keys over to OpenClaw and just wishing for the best. No. Instead, I spent 10 years building print-on-demand brands, and then I spent nearly 2,000 hours experimenting with AI with one goal in mind: growing the revenue of our existing business. That's why in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down for you exactly why I think there's so much hype around AI right now, what most people are getting wrong about it, and then how I've actually driven value in the business so that by the end of this, no matter if you are taking your very first sale online or if you're already scaling, you will be able to extract useful tips and a mental model for thinking through using AI in your business going forward. Because one thing is for certain, there has never been more noise about any topic in the history of mankind than there is about AI right now. So let's cut straight to the chase, starting off with what is it that most people get wrong about AI? And I can be honest about this because I did it too right out of the gate. And that is thinking that AI changes the underlying fundamentals of your business. Meaning, when I first got started with AI, I fell into the trap of thinking like, okay, what can AI do? And I pulled up Twitter, or I see these case studies of people making video graphics or, scraping all these websites. And so I started doing those things because it's like, AI can do it. Why shouldn't I do that now? And I just ended up spending probably the first couple hundred hours of time that went into AI. I was just like on a wild goose chase. I was following every trend and every neat trick that Claude or the latest model could do, not asking the most important question of all, which is, how does this actually apply to me? I already have a business. I already have my e-commerce brand. And yet the way that I was applying AI, it looked like I was a complete novice and didn't have anything of any sort, that I was just starting from the same square one as everybody else. So the biggest thing that I see people getting wrong with AI, and it even happens within our community, is they think that because AI exists, it changes the rule of the game that they had already learned how to play. And nothing could be further from the truth. The people who are going to win in the age of AI are the ones who continue to leverage it, but for a traditional business model, who leverage it to solve like antiquated or old problems. Meaning, like, the way you apply it is you look at your business and you forget that AI exists. You don't even pretend like that it's a thing. And you just ask, what is the biggest problem I have today? What is the biggest opportunity? And then, and only then, once you have identified those things, do you introduce AI as a possible path to solving that problem? And that brings us to number 2, which is attack the bottleneck. Because after I spent all these hours and, millions and millions of tokens for very little to show for it, I realized that something needs to change. I need to change my approach. Otherwise, I could see a reality where a year from now, I am no further along than I am right now. And I would just be cursing the day that AI even became a thing. So taking a step back, reevaluate what are the biggest bottlenecks in the business. And the fastest way that I've ever found to identify this for yourself is if you could wave a magic wand. Imagine a genie pops up next to you and you get one wish. Only one, but that one wish, you wave a magic wand and it is done. Whatever you imagine, whatever you wish for, that one thing is done. And you only get to wish one time. What is the thing that you're wishing for? Within my business, within our brand, what is the thing that if it were done tomorrow, everything else would just explode? And like, there would be other problems that would pop up, but what is that thing that once it's done, everything changes? Tim Ferriss calls this the big domino. Hormozi talks about like the law of constraints, which comes from like Warren Buffett. Doesn't matter. What is it for you? Identify it. And then that is the thing we want to apply AI to first. So for us in our e-commerce brand, it's designs, it's the products. If I could wave a magic wand and I had unlimited designs as of tomorrow, everything else like pales in comparison to solving that one problem. Like, it's not even close. And third thing, which is equally intuitive and counterintuitive, is you want to approach the problem the same way you solved it before AI was a thing. Which, let me explain. I know that that sounds opposite. Like, why would I try to approach it the same way? But consider this. The last time you applied AI, were you trying to solve something that you already had worked on in the past? If the answer is yes, then that's fantastic. That means you're already on the right track. You are applying AI to the right areas of your business, and that puts you head and shoulders above most of the competition out there. But now ask the follow-up question of like, when you were working on that problem, assuming it's a problem you've already solved in some way before, like designs, we've made good designs before. We've made good ads. We've sent good emails. So we have a definition of what good looks like, but were you thinking through it in the same way that you did previously? And normally, at least from how I approached it, the answer was no. Like approaching designs, I kind of threw out our entire rule book and I thought like, okay, what can AI do? And I just started again, pretty much committing the same sins as before. I was scraping all these sites and making all these insane prompts and all this stuff and like this crazy, snake-like workflow. And it's like, hold on a second. Have I ever once done this in creating new designs? Have I ever had to go and scrape like websites and like brainstorm and like have Mythos like hack the Pentagon and all that? No. Then like, what is all this for? Let's bring it back to basics again. Let's evaluate, how have I actually solved this problem in the past? And once I realized that, it was like a 3-step process. I look at our best sellers, I brainstorm new designs based on that, and then I generate designs and I see like which ones actually turn out looking good. And then once I have that, it's like, okay, well, why was I doing any of the rest of this? So it's just this process of simplification. And the way to fact check yourself on this, and this is lesson number 4 that I've learned, is like the best barometer that I've found for when I'm doing something that I should be with AI, it comes down to my level of excitement or boredom that I feel with it. Meaning that if I feel super excited and like I'm bouncing off the walls, I'm like thinking about all the different applications, it feels good, obviously, like who wouldn't love to be in that state of mind? But it also is normally a red flag. It's a red flag because if I am doing the thing that the business actually needs, it's probably the thing or the problem that I have solved, and I'm approaching it in a way that is similar to how I've solved it before, which is the fastest path to getting to the outcome, but it's also the least boring journey. And like something that I've learned a lot from working with like many of the most talented developers over the years is that one of their Achilles heels is optimizing something that shouldn't exist, or optimizing for the thing that is getting built and not the outcome itself. So in our mental model of AI, we can fact check ourselves on, am I using it in a way that is like exciting me, or is keeping me grounded in like the beautiful boredom that is building a business by giving it exactly what it needs and nothing more? All right, so bottleneck number 1 was designs. Before implementing our design workflow, we were able to get out about 25 to 50 new designs per week. Now, as of today, we are getting out at least 100 designs per day. That is our capacity now, and none of that was possible before implementing AI. Bottleneck number 2 that we attacked was our ad creative. So before, very similar to designs, we were able to get out anywhere from like maybe 25 to 30 ad creatives on a good week to now, again, we're able to get out about 50 per day. And last week we launched about 400 new ad creatives all in one shot. And then bottleneck number 3 was our emails. We simply took our entire calendar of emails, ingested it, and then had it analyze what were the top performing emails that we have ever sent, and then created a rolling calendar looking forward the next 30 to 90 days. What emails are we going to send? Rather than it being a one-off thing where normally we would have like a monthly meeting and talk about like, all right, what should we do? Now it analyzes and looks at our historical performance and sees which emails we sent, and then it uses those to come up with the emails in advance. And now it just gets dropped right in our calendar and we just approve it, and then it's good to send. So 3 of the most boring applications of it, we just increase the amount of designs, increase the ad creatives, and plan the emails in advance. By far the biggest levers that we found when it comes to leveraging AI in our business. Now here's the piece that everybody gets wrong about this. They assume that because I'm saying that we launch more designs than ever, that we launch more ads than ever, that we were able to make better emails than ever, that it meant that the human left the loop. Human in the loop of AI improvement and AI generation, the human, ourself, like you, the brand operator, you set up evals that essentially allows you to be removed from the loop. You are still in the loop. I'm still reviewing every design. I'm still looking at every ad creative. I'm still signing off on every email. That part has not changed. When people say AI automation, next time, instead of thinking that means 100% and Skynet and everything taking over the world, all of that, just simplify the definition down to 80%. And then once you've simplified it down to like, I'm going to get it 80% of the way there, then really ask yourself, does this actually apply to my business? Do I need this feature, or is it just something that I'm excited about? And if you're excited about it, fantastic, knock yourself out. But just don't convince ourselves that this is anything more than just a shiny object dressed in a different, set of shoes, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, the best way to apply AI to your business is by applying it to the things your business actually needs, and only you know what those are. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you found it helpful, you can click the link down below to get our scaling blueprint, which will show exactly where you are on the 6 different stages, going from $0 to $1 million like we have done 8 different times. It's completely yours, totally for free. Just click the link down below. Love to have you. And other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.